Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
All right. How are you? Good morning. Good morning to you.
Thanks for joining.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Okay, one moment. Let me just
Okay.
open up this stream. How you doing this morning? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. Leona. How yourself? You doing okay?
Oh, doing
Yes.
pretty
Can you hear
good.
me?
Yes, I can. It was a
Good. You can
short
hear me?
delay. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
There was kind of a delay at first, so I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
Love all those books.
Oh, thanks. I'm in my basement here.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. It's 9:59. Just setting up the live stream.
Hope nobody comes in. The shop is not open yet, but people just come when you're doing something.
Oh,
Just my luck, somebody will come over and knock at the house and say, "Are you open today?"
oh. Well, let's get started. So I'm not good morning, Don, holding you any longer.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you, for agreeing to us having this conversation. I know it's not, always easy to, you know, be on live stream or to do an interview. And I know that you and I don't know each other all that well. So I appreciate you, agreeing to have this conversation. I think the first kind of engagement, real engagement, I know you're part of the group that we had, you had commented, I was talking about, trying to restore this book that I have. And how it's going to cost a pretty penny if I restore it. And you had commented on the feed that you have a copy of the book, and I think you had posted your copy, which is like in excellent condition considering the age of the book. And this is a book that I've been looking for a long time, and the books that are in great condition are just astronomical prices, at least for my for my budget. So I was just impressed with the fact that you had a copy of that book. I think and the book was still in such great condition. And so then I think you shared some of the other items, that you have, and shared that you were an antiques dealer. Good morning, Nubia. Um, and so, your story just is really intriguing to me. I see some, excellent things on the wall behind you. So we can start out. If you can just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself as a collector and an antiques dealer. How did you come to, doing this work? And what keeps you, you know, collecting or dealing as an antique dealer?
Okay. But again, thank you for having me. I normally don't do a whole lot of this because I'm always busy with my shop. But I'm Stanley Stevenson, a senior, and I got involved with antiques, believe it or not, for my children. I wanted to get each one of them something old, so I bought four pieces, restored them, and the objective was to save these four pieces for each one of my children. But
Mm,
then it began to be a hobby. And how I got into the business per se, because worked for the railroad as a clerk. As I got into the business, my great grandmother passed, and I wanted to see my grandfather. He went back to California, so I collected all of this stuff. I mean, back then I really didn't know a whole lot. I just was collecting, and saved the money and went on a trip. My ex-wife and I, and to Oxnard, where I'm originally from. And after doing that, I thought, oh God, one day I may open up a shop. So that's kind of how I got into to that, and not the collecting part of my business, um, because I buy from a lot of African American estates. Um, it was intriguing. I mean, once I bought the trunks and the different things, the papers were there, the books was there, the letters of recognitions. Um, it was like, wow, this is amazing. This is our history. So I began to want to save that, and I go to other antique shops, and the only things I would see would be derogatory pieces like mammies and cookie jars and all of that stuff. And of course, that's history, but I wasn't pleased with seeing so much of that. So in my shop, there is a lot of history that is not for sale. So if you came to my shop, you could get the experience of seeing all of the history that's on display, but you wouldn't be able to buy those pieces. So if you didn't buy an antique, you could also get a story
Mm.
from our
Thank you.
history. Mhm.
Definitely. Thank you. And like I say, I see, some of the history on the walls behind you. Do you embrace the term collector, or do you prefer antiques dealer, or do you kind of go by, both terms? Do you have a problem with the term collector? This is a question I've kind of asked, everyone that I've talked to, because some people didn't really, you know, see themselves as a collector at first, and it, something that kind of evolved over time. Others, embrace that term. So I guess, the question is, do you, use that term associated with yourself? Why or why not?
I don't consider myself a collector. I think that I'm blessed because the pieces I have, Yolanda, are not easily to be found. Of course, I'm sure you can relate to that. I've considered myself as a keeper of the jewels. I'm just a keeper because at some point in life, I have to pass them on to someone else. Yes, I collect them. Yes, I have a lot of them. But I think it is of God that He allows me as I journey within my buying and selling that these pieces come into my hands and I'm only here to keep them. And that there'll be some point in time that I need to pass those on to others. Just recently, I have a piece that I've wanted forever and I'm going to get it. The person that has it is getting older and she's going to sell it to me. So
Mm,
I'm grateful for that. I don't really consider myself a collector. Just I'm just a
oh,
keeper.
I like that. I like that.
Yes.
And speaking of your collection, what kind of items, I know you have probably hundreds if not thousands of items, but just generally speaking, what type of items are in your collection? What are some of your favorite pieces, or pieces that you kind of hunt for, or like to find, or specialize in?
Mm. That's a tough question because that's a tough question because I love it all. I do. I love it all. From slavery, segregation, the Renaissance period. I could just go on and on, civil rights. But I will say that for some reason I am enthused with the struggle of our people. So I'm always excited to find pieces where there were school teachers that had to teach during segregation. There was a minister that was born enslaved and went on to do great things and have schools named after he or she, with all the odds stacked against them. The businesses that finding out that this was the very first school wherever, the first Black doctor that did something. It's amazing. So I cannot say that I have one specific thing, but I do have segregation uh, signs that I use in the movie The Great Debater. I have several,
Mm,
but those are important to me. In fact, I put them out so you can see them. They're important to me because they were used as movie props. Having my business, sometimes when they have movies and they need pieces to show, you know, the history of our people. They will come to me and ask if I have these props. And sometimes I allow them to use them, sometimes I don't, because I've learned that if some pieces can go and they won't return.
mm, for sure.
Yeah, they won't return. Of course, you can get yes, you can get the money, but the piece is gone. And to me, the artifact is a whole lot better than money. So there's some pieces I won't allow to leave my presence.
Right, absolutely. Are there
Some pieces.
any pieces near you that you want to, show, or um
But I did. Let's see. Let's see here. See if you can see these. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see. I think I somehow see you, but I can't see me. Hold on. You there?
Yes,
There we go. Can you see this one? It says colored.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. This is a sign, metal sign. Okay.
And so something like that, would that kind of be like on a bathroom in a public place?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
This was me, and the color would be for both Afro American women and men, and then that one would be for white, and this one that says ladies would be for the white ladies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I did keep this. Let's see here. See if I got it. This is where it was sent back to me from the great debaters. So I
Mm.
kept this with Denzel Washington. I was excited to report that. And I found these. Let me see, can I find it? Oh, these are some pictures where they used to put it. Can you see? Can you see that? Probably not. Let me
Yes,
yeah, as a movie prop.
yes. You can
So
see
I
it a
got
little. I mean, it's a glare, but I can kind
I
of
can
see
see it.
what's going on.
Okay. But that those and I have a many segregation signs, but that was dear because I got to go down and be a part of that. And then and the movie is out in those days. So I only let them rent them. They wanted to buy them, but I didn't sell.
Wow, wow,
Yes, yes.
that's something. How did you even get did they know about your shop? How did you even get connected where they were interested in your pieces?
Well, they were here in the city, and the other shops told them that if they reached out to me, they could find what they wanted. I probably wouldn't sell them, but that I was a collector, as they call, of that, and I had a huge collection, and I was always buying that because I always ask around in the shops all over, anywhere I go, not just here in my city, but Dallas, Houston, and my travels, as I'm sure most do. That's what I'm looking for when I go into a shop or when I go into an establishment. That's what I'm really looking for. Of course, I may buy something else, but for the most part, I'm looking for our history.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I'm known for that. I'm known for that. And that's a good thing to be known for because that means the more eyes you have. So that's how they found out about it.
Okay, cool. How many pieces, if you don't know exactly, you can give a ballpark figure. How many pieces are in your collection, would you say?
Oh, Yolanda, I'm serious. I cannot say. I mean, thousands, but I mean, because I have a shop, I have my home in several buildings, and in within those buildings, I have a huge collection. I do need to get it organized and characterized, but I'm gonna be honest. I could not give you a. I can't. Because I
And I
have
know
ephemera, I have papers, I have letters. Go ahead, go ahead,
I was just gonna
go
say, I
ahead.
know you mentioned you started buying pieces for each of your children. So how long have you been collecting, would you say?
I say about 35 years. It's really
Okay.
collecting. Because I worked in between, I didn't do about 35 years. Probably longer, but 35 and 40. That's a good thing.
Interesting. Um, how would you say that, as more as a you could say as an antique as an antiques dealer, or as a keeper of these items, maybe more so, yeah, either one, or you can split the question up. How would you say things have changed, from maybe when you've started collecting and now, kind of what has your journey been? Is it harder to find things, more expensive? Is it, how do you if it has, I'm assuming that it's changed, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but how has the journey been? I mean, because if you've been collecting for, decades, that's quite a long time. I would assume, the journey has changed in some ways.
It has, even the antiques business, uh, things are harder to find. The only, I would think, advantage I have is because I'm an established businessman and I've been in business for quite some time. Okay, so it is not as hard for me to come across some things. But with Google Lens, and there are so many people that would like to do it and can do it. I used to say they want to do it and don't know how to do it, but they do. And with the internet, with high bid, when I started, Yolanda, there was no Google.
Mm,
You had to get in the book and read, and you need to know what glassware was, what furniture was, what period it was. um, there was no easy way to just take a picture and then Google something and go out and get the name of it. I had to know the names. I had to know what it was. So when I went out to purchase things, I had to have this knowledge. But now it's so readily available. And pieces are hard to find. I think people are excited about buying, but it's not there. The history is not there. The pieces I have, I got them years and years ago. So to find a true, just say mammy doorstop, there's so many reproductions. And it's not, and then it has changed because so many people think they're experts. I don't want to say the wrong thing, and they really are not. They think they have something that's really not what they think. Okay, that's my thing. As far as the antique business, me and my other co-business owners, we realized that finding great pieces and desirable pieces is hard to find. What used to be expensive is not. What used to be nothing is. Am I making sense to you? So it's constantly
Mhm.
changing. It's constantly changing. A very elegant piece that used to be thousands of dollars is not desirable any longer.
Mm.
Uh, art that used to not be anything is. Our history, where this is just my opinion as an antique dealer, okay? I'm not an expert on it, but the derogatory pieces are not as desirable as a rare book concerning our people, a letter. Those pieces have become very, uh, I mean, to have something like that now is extremely, that's rare to find.
Yeah. Do you have a this is hard to judge, but do you have a theory on why um certain pieces, as you said, aren't as desirable, like some of the derogatory pieces, and some of the more, print material you said is more desirable? I mean, do you think it's just, people don't want to be associated with certain things, so it's not as desirable? Or do you have a, is it more of those direct, do you have a theory as to why certain pieces aren't as desirable, and certain pieces are more desirable that weren't before?
Mm. I would say even with what we have going on in the world today, the diversity and all these other situations, we have improved some. We have. Uh, People don't want negative things around them. There are certain people that say that was wrong. That was not right. And I don't want to have a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. And I don't want it in my home. I have many people that would like to sell me their collections of such. uh, Donate those to me, those collections of such derogatory pieces of several. In fact, just recently, a lady called me and said, would you please accept this? My husband and I have decided we just don't want this. And you've done a great job. You're teaching and you have this collection. They don't want that any longer. Then there are others on the flip side that would like it to be like it was, but the original pieces are not there. So they don't mind buying something from China and saying, hey, this is cool because they think it's worth a lot of money and it's not. Okay, and as far as the history pieces, our history has never been told correctly. So yes, when you get the real piece in your hand, say the very first Afro American man that have a shoe shine shop per se. I'm just using it parenthetically speaking. Then you have something great because most time no one even knows about that particular person. I have pieces that are not on the internet that are not. You can't Google it because it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making
Mm-hmm.
sense? It's not. The story hasn't been told. So I think that it is important. People are not. The universities need it. Uh, Other collectors are looking for those pieces because we need to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
The true story.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely. And Nubia, she's also in this Zoom. She says she follows you, and she was looking forward to this interview. But she had a question. She asked, "Do you have anyone that helps you handle your collection?"
I do not have anyone that helps me handle. I'm very particular about my collection. Um, I'm just very particular about it. I guard it because it's interesting and people um, they're fascinated. I mean, it's like wow. And where did you find this? Again, I think it's up me because I want to put it together for my family that they know where what is and where this is. But it's such a huge collection. I didn't realize when I started that it would reach to this magnitude. I'm serious. When I say it's in buildings and then in my home as well, in my shop, it's quite a bit.
Mhm.
And I think it's because I have, well, I know it is because I have this business. So
Mhm.
this is in my business. I'm always busy with the antiques. I just recently bought an estate, and I'm going through papers. You have to go through every single piece, especially when you buy it from an estate that you feel that it's there, and most of the time it's there.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, most of the time.
Has there been any pieces that have um sort of, I know the first have welled up a certain emotion in you? I know the first time that I visited the African American Museum in DC, um and there was a long line to get in to see Emmett Till's casket. I don't know if that's a permanent fixture there, because I haven't been able to get to the museum in a number of years. But when I went, they had his casket there, and there was a long line, and that me along with others that were there, it brought out an emotion that I wasn't prepared to have it come to surface. And so I know that all of our history is not pain, sorrow, and struggle, by no means. But obviously, a significant part of our history, especially in the United States, deals with those painful subjects. So I guess I'm wondering, with handling some of the pieces that you've acquired, um, is there emotion that wells up in you, or not, or how do you deal with sorting through, whether it's an auction, a slave auction, whatever is in your collection, that and you're touching pieces of history that may be a painful or hard or whatever. How do you deal with the emotion of these artifacts?
Well, Yolanda, I'm glad you asked that question. Years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to answer that, but I'm going to say to you, every now and then, and I have experiences only 3 or 4 times, I would hate to have to experience it again. Every now and then, I will, I
There's kind
will,
of a delay with.
it's
Can you
kind of
hear me?
painful to say, I will come
Okay.
across something that will disrupt, I will have to back off. And because
Mm.
this, every now and then, I will find something that will really disrupt me, that would really disturb me terribly, and I'll have to back off from the collecting because it will disturb me. That was once I was buying some things, and it was amazing because, can you hear me well?
I
Can you hear me
can now.
well?
There was kind of a delay at first, but now it seems to be
Okay.
fine.
That was once, there was several times I could say. This one time I was buying some things from an old barn, I remember, and I was so tired this particular day, and so I was getting ready to go, and a voice spoke to me and said, "Just put all of these pieces that go through this box. There should be some things in there that you." So I did. So later that night, I got in my home, and I was from the 1800s, and I'm always interested to see where we are, and I always think we're probably in the back of this newsletter, or whatever. But this was a journal that was done, I think, by monthly. I'm not for sure now, but anyway, Georgia Journal. In there, they had a slave trade. I mean, a slave sale on the courthouse steps, and that was the first time I had really come across something of such. And it was given this lady's name and all of her children. It was so
Mm.
disturbing to have that in my hand and to read that, it took me a while to get back into it. It did something to me. And there are others I could go over, but I care not to because it is disturbing. Because seeing is believing it. And I just could not believe. Just recently, I will share, I have some ledgers from a courthouse in Arkansas, about five of them. And in there, it shows how they leased us out and sold us out, the ancestors, to do work and told how much they charged to do the work. Um, just horrible, uh, uh, just horrible, and it's right there. You can't deny that it didn't happen because it's there, and it shows who did it and their names and just horrible. So yes, it is painful, but on the flip side, there's this other part of me that's always excited sometimes when I find a certain piece.
Mhm.
But that has happened to me at least three or four times, and I would hope that it doesn't happen again soon. And it may, I never know, because those times it does something to me. I have to sit back and recoup.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. So the Facebook group that you joined, thanks for joining. Um, kind of focuses. I focus on books because that's sort of my passion. Um, can you name a book or two? I know we mentioned kind of when I really we had the conversation was the book that I was trying to restore, and you were like, "Oh, I have this book." Are there, a particular book or some books you want to mention that's in your collection that you're, really proud to have?
Let's see, I'm going to show you. I took out a couple of books so I could show you.
Okay.
Okay. This book has been a roadmap for me locally. Okay.
Hmm.
It was done by a professor at the university here. His name was Willie Burton. He did several books. His books are, you can't find them now. But anyway, this book, because this is local, okay.
Okay.
He did a great job within this book. And I got
Hmm.
to meet Mr. Burton. So sometimes if I'm puzzled, it's kind of like a roadmap for me. It's a good, I can look through this book and find out some history about what I've found locally. But there's a lot of things since I've been collecting so long that are not in this book. And
Hmm.
so I'm grateful for this. It makes me know that I need to write a book. But this is,
For sure.
I really do. This is a good book. Okay. That's
Wow.
what
Are you a native to Shreveport yourself?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. This book, because I love church, can you see it there? Our Baptist
I-
ministries and schools. Can you see that? You may have a copy of this. Do you have a
yeah,
copy of it? Do you have a
I
copy of
don't.
it?
No, I don't. It's called Our Baptist Ministries, Ministers in Schools.
That's correct. Can you see it?
Yeah, kind of. Who is the
Okay.
author of that book?
Let me give it to you. Okay. Let me give it
Okay.
to you. Okay. But anyway, this is a very important book to me because it has a lot to do with African American schools.
Hmm.
I'm going to do something for you, okay? Let's see if I can you give me just a minute? We'll try to.
Sure, sure.
Well, let's see. I was going to try to. I'm not real savvy on this, but give me just a minute here. Let's see. Why is I can't flip that? I was going to try to flip the.
If not, that's okay.
Okay, okay. But it's W.A. Pegers.
Okay.
Pegues. Okay, but that's a good book because it has a lot of the schools in it, and of course the one, the National Encyclopedia of Color. I love that one too because it's a lot of our history in there. I have
Right.
actually two copies of that book. I have two copies of it.
Wow.
Um, but this is it.
Yeah.
Um, and I have many books, but from time to time I'll look through um, these books for some history or something. But I have so many books. I don't see how you keep up with them because I have tons of them.
Um, so I think you kind of already talked about this. The question is, what do you envision for the future of your collection? I know you talked about your children and wanting to leave a legacy for them. Um,
Yeah.
could you kind of talk about is that, what your, well, I guess that's, what'll happen to the future of your collection. But I guess part of the question too is, um, do you have a goal for your collection? Are there still things that you're, still wanting to acquire or do? I know you've leased out certain things you feel comfortable for movie studios. Are there, other, I know you have your business. Is that still kind of the path that you envision in the next, years going forward, or is there some other projects that you want to do?
Um, I will say that I don't think I'll never stop collecting. God calls me, and I will continue to collect. But I'm beginning now in my this is important, and you should keep this. I'm talking more with my youngest son and my daughter. They know that this is very important to me. But I think, like others, like the lady that she's now in her getting ready to be in her 80s. I believe that I will be passing some things on to others, like younger people like yourself, to carry the torch when the time comes. And God, He puts people in our places. So I'm certain at some point in my life, if I'm still here and you're still here, I'll be reaching out to you and saying, Yolanda, would you like to do that? Because I can't take it with me. And there'll be some things I want to place in certain people's hands while I'm still here. Of course, there's plenty left for my children. There'll be plenty left for them to do. And I just pray that they do what they need to do. That's all I can say. No, I won't put it in a museum. I'll be honest with you. I won't donate it all to a museum. But I do have some legal things done for my collection. I will say that. I do have some legal things and some instructions for my collection. Not so much the antiques, but for my collection.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that and the work that you're doing. And your good friend Don, who's with us, hello Don, shared with me the repurposing you did with the post office. Could you just kind of tell us about that project? Like, how did you know, decide to acquire the post office? It seems like a huge undertaking, and if you could just kind of share, how you came to this project, what you've done with it, because this is like so fascinating.
Yes, I got to get a hold of Don for that. She's working. That's some extra questions I had to answer because of
No, I'm sorry, Don, for putting you out there, but no, I'm so grateful that she, shared that because I think that's a very important part of your story,
Mhm.
which I didn't know, and I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you like it. But I will say that the post office was just originally bought for storage. Okay. And I didn't know that it was the post office. It's adjacent to my shop. My shop was an old general store, and the post office was sitting there. So, and I lived in the back of my shop. And to be honest, I was dating and I decided, hey, I don't want to live in the back of the shop. I think I'll just restore the post office.
Mhm.
So I moved over and I really love the post office, I'll be honest. It it has it's been a little job, but it's extremely nice. I put a roof on it. It's my home. It's historical. I've always wanted to live in a loft apartment or something like that. So it's a still work in process, but I like the exposed brick walls, and to have love and history to live in the old post office and in this small little village. It's exciting. They did a story on it, and you can go online and see some of the photographs, and it's still a work in progress. But I bought it I really originally bought it for storage to put more of my collection in, but it turned out to be my home, and it's right next door to my shop, which makes it convenient for me. If someone comes to my shop, they just blow the horn, and if I'm not at the shop, I can walk over next door.
Wow, wow.
It was
Thank you
built
for
in,
sharing that.
go ahead, I'm sorry. I think it was built
Uh-huh.
like over 100 years ago.
Mm,
Yes.
wow. feel like you should have your own your own reality show with this. I know that's really
No.
pretty invasive, um, but
Yes.
do you feel now? My I went to undergrad. I went to Dillard, which is in New Orleans, Louisiana. Um,
Okay.
and so I know I went to undergrad with individuals who came from all parts of Louisiana, including, Shreveport. And Louisiana, New Orleans, of course, everyone, knows about New Orleans, has a lot of history. Um, would you say being located in Louisiana has given you, unique opportunities or access to things based on where you're located, being in Louisiana? Or how has that impacted, if any, your journey as a, antiques dealer and as a keeper of your items?
Mm. I can't say just because I'm in the South that I have been able to get so much, but I would say that has helped because I can find things. I've found things other places that uh, were related to the South. I think it would be more, I would think it's more plentiful here. It was more plentiful. I don't think it is now. It was more plentiful. Certain pieces, especially during segregation, it was a lot of that. But I wouldn't think just because I'm in the South that in Louisiana that, oh my God, there's a lot of, because I mean, I've gone other places and found great pieces. It's
Okay.
just hard work. You have to get out. You have to get out. You have to move around. Um, one advantage I have is have done it for a long time again, and then I have eyes, other people that know that I do it. They'll call me. That makes a difference. They did call me. It's harder to find now, Yolanda. It really is. For the
Mm.
younger people, I don't know, and more expensive when you do find it. God, they want prices out of this world. I think you can relate to that. They do. They
For
want prices.
Right, for sure, for sure. And I know I've told this story before of, like, for example, like, say I'm mostly looking at books and ephemera or magazines, but, like, Ebony Jr. Is just so astronomical now. Just for one magazine can be like, $100 or more. And I was like so
Yes.
impressed when Dawn had posted her collection. I'm like, oh my God, she has a doll and everything. And it's like, I mean, first of all, they're hard to find. Like, even if you go on eBay, they're hard to sort of locate. But then, the ones that are there are just, like really, really expensive. So I know, even just, just looking at books, I'm not, like I say, I'm not really even looking at a lot of other things. The prices on certain things are just, so expensive. Even, like, I've been going through this phase where I try to pick up like Black World or Negro Digest when I can, and sometimes there'll be sellers on eBay where you can get a lot of them. They sell them in a lot, and it'll be, pretty reasonable. And then other
Mhm.
individual magazines um are just, like, really really expensive. So, just from
Yes.
book standpoint, I definitely, and I have not been collecting as long, as you have, but so I can see the how expensive things can certainly certainly be, for sure.
Yes. And I think that has a lot to do with the internet and all too. It's a little different. And myself and Don, because Don been collecting a lot longer than me, I'm more than sure. But when we started, it was not, and you could find things on eBay. You could, but I never bought much from eBay. I was
Okay.
blessed that I could get it from the individuals, which
Hmm.
made it more better because if a family was buying ebony and they were buying them back in the 60s and 50s and 40s, but they were all there in the house. I
Hmm.
have some magazines about called the Negro Life magazine. You probably not. Have you heard of that Negro Life?
I have, and that's another one that's very
Yeah.
expensive.
Well, I have
At
a
least
nice
on eBay
collection.
it is.
Yeah, I have a nice collection of the Negro Life magazine. But
Mm,
it was from an individual that had many of them. I think it was in Houston that they had where they were. I'm not for sure where they produced it. But
okay.
like I said, but like they're not. It's not as easy to be found now. That's all I can say. And if so, you can Google lens it, and then there they say, oh my, this is worth tons of money, and they're not concerned about the history. This is worth tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's sell it.
Right, for sure.
Mm.
Um, so, in this current political climate, there's, unfortunately, we have an administration that, um, is openly white supremacist in a lot of ways, in my opinion. And there's, been this backlash against diversity. We've heard about, certain things being removed from websites as it relates to, the accomplishments of African Americans. I think they have taken the names off of some of the Navy ships and put the Confederate names back on them and so on and so forth. So guess my question is, first of all, how does this make you feel? And then, given kind of what's happening, or trying to happen to our history by, certain powers that be, how does this impact, your work as a, you know, um, keeper of some of these things that, those certain people want to maybe erase or change?
Okay, well, it gives me the courage to work even harder. I'm very disappointed about what's going on in our world today, but I am now even more determined than I was to collect more, and to save it, and to put it out there more, to talk about it, to put it in my shop so others can see. It has given me the energy to persevere a whole lot harder than I have.
You know, thank you. Me too. I think all of us in this,
Yes.
space feel, even, it's even more important. Do you have or have others in, the, whether it's the antique dealer space or other, keepers of history? Do you have mentors, whether they're alive or dead, that look up to, or do you have a circle or community? I know when we've talked, you've talked a lot about Dawn and you all's friendship, and I know she's part of your community. But are there, people, as I say, that you want to, mention, that it can be mentors or it can be people in your, community that have helped or uplifted you in this space?
I can. There are ministers, there are other collectors, other shop owners that have been very instrumental in helping me with the collecting part of my uh, my collection. So I cannot say I did it all on my own. And there are others, I won't call their names out, but there are others that I look up to that they kind of keep me in the right direction. And I met most of those in the group. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for the group, for because I mean it was so wonderful to finally meet others like myself that had a passion, and we help one another. You know, where I'm weak, they're strong. Where I'm strong, they're weak. So it's a good balance. But yes, other shop owners have helped me with my collection. They ministers, people, they know I like it. Hey, this estate, the lady passed, or she's in a convalescent home. This family's coming to sell their mother's or father. You need to go check with them. I gave them your number. So I've had help. I worked real hard, but I've had help. I
Mhm.
cannot dare say that I did it all on my own.
What advice would you give to others who, want to, whether it's that they want to, collect items, um, African American items or items representative of African diaspora, or maybe they want to get into the antiques business. And I know, everyone has their own kind of journey or path, but because you've done this for so long, what advice would you give to other collectors and or, antique dealers?
But antique dealers, I would say to a person to just do it. I mean, there's you just get out, and it's a hard work. But if you have a passion for it, it's really not hard work because I have the passion. But to start, um, I mean, not just jump into it full handed. Just start maybe in a booth, you know, and then get a brick and mortar eventually, or do it online. But to just start and be positive about it, and that they can do it. Because when I started in my city, I was the only Afro American owned I think, in fact, I still am the only African American owned business, black business, African American owned antique shop in my city,
Mm,
which was strange for me. I couldn't believe that, but I am. Um, and as far as the collecting, I would say that as well. Just start one piece at a time. That's how we all did it, just one piece at a time. And ask around. I mean, there's no certain place to go. People always ask me, where do you go? What advice? What do you do? Because they want to know, but it's no secret. There's no secret. You just have to work hard. You may like to do it online. They have so many high bid. They have a lot of auction houses. I never wanted those because I wanted the story. So it's important to me to speak with the family of who I'm buying the collection because I get the whole story.
mm,
Because when you passing it on, if I choose to sell something to an individual, I have to keep it. I have the provenance. You know, you buy something off of high bid, well, you just bought it. And I'm not degrading it. I mean, but you don't really have the provenance. I wouldn't think so.
mm. Okay.
Yes, opposed to buying it from the family. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, I was just going to ask, with that being said, Nubia had a question around estate sales and have you done presentations or even open to doing presentations to people about, um, you know, estate sales and what that is and sort of what what you should do or how you should look for them. Have you um kind of talked to people about that, and if not, be open to talking to people about, because I think I know for me, I get this email that comes and it'll tell me, like, different estate sales, and my grandmother was really big into that, but I've never myself gone to an estate sale, and they can be, to me, this is just me, but sometimes estate sales can seem kind of intimidating because you feel like, okay, well, these were probably people that were wealthy, so of course, these items, they probably are probably going to be priced at a high price. And so, sometimes estate sales can come across as a little intimidating to people, especially if you're not necessarily an antiques
Okay.
dealer. And
Right.
um, so yeah, I guess it's the question is, do you, have you talked to people about doing that? Or if not, would you be open to doing that? Can you hear me?
I would be open to doing it. I have spoken to a lot of people about it. Estate sales now, they have estatesale.net. And you hear me?
Yes,
Yolanda,
I
are you
can.
there? You hear me?
Yes, I'm here. It looked like
Okay, all
your
right.
screen is frozen, but we can. Okay, now it's back. I can see.
Okay, all right, maybe I need to be still. But I have spoken to people about the estate sales. You can go online, they have estatesale.net.
Mm,
And a lot of people ask me about it. Okay, I have a good friend that has recently opened up an estate. She does estate sales. Okay. But with estate
mm,
sales, um, they have the first day, everything is the full price, and the next day, maybe a fourth, and the next day I have sale. But I don't do a lot of estate sales. Okay. If I go to
oh,
an estate sale, it's because they have some black history, because I don't do a lot of estate sales. Okay. I don't like the
okay.
hustle and the bustle and the running, but remember now, I've done it a long time, so I don't have to do that. I don't have to do it. But
Mm,
estate sales are great places to go, but you need to pick out, if you're looking for antiques and you know what you're looking for, you need to do your research and make sure this estate sale is worth you going to, because you can go to some estate sales and not find what you're looking for.
mhm,
And get to know the owner, get to know the person that's giving the estate sale. That's the main thing. Get to know them and tell them what you're looking for. And if, when they're doing the estate sale, if they have these particular items, ask them if you can come on the night that they allow the dealers to preview, because they do give a night for just dealers to come, shop owners, and they have special invitation to, but there again, I don't do a lot of estate sales because I really don't have to.
mm,
I've been doing it long enough that I get the phone calls and I can go out. Today I could go to 3 or 4 places. I have a list to go. But estate sales can be nice. I would definitely go to an estate sale if it was a prominent African American doctor, lawyer, teacher, collector. I would go to that sale.
mm.
I
Okay. Well,
would. Yes.
Excellent. Well, we're coming up on the closing of our interview. But I did want to ask if there's anyone who's interested in reaching out to you, either to, do business with you with your business or anything. Is there any type of contact information that want to pass along to people, um, uh, in terms of, you know, them maybe getting in contact with you, or would you rather them, look you up on Facebook, or, what do you feel comfortable with in terms of sharing, if any, if somebody wants to get in contact with you?
Well, thank you. I'm very humbled that you asked that question. Of course, they could call me on my cell, because people call me all over the world. I would give up my phone number. If you don't mind, I could give it out.
Sure.
It's a 318-573-2127. And I'll answer. And being a business person, my number's out there, so there's no need of me trying to be secretive about it. Of course, they could Google me as well, and my shop is pretty much on the net, and there's articles about me. So I have, and Facebook, Twitter. But the best way to get me is to just phone me up, and just give me a call. I'd be glad to talk to them. We do shipping too. We do shipping. You purchase something in my shop, I'll ship it to you. We take PayPal. Um, there are some pieces in my shop that are African American pieces that I do sales. I have copies of 2 or 3 copies of this, 3 or 4 copies of a certain book. Um, Sometimes I may have some dolls, or so I do sell some of that. All of it is
Okay.
not for sale. I do sell some of it. So we have a lot of that. That it's some pieces I will sell.
Okay. Excellent. Is there anything else
Mhm.
that you want to mention or talk about that I may not have asked you or anything?
I just appreciate you reaching out to me. Hope I did well for you.
Yes, definitely.
I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity. When I started, I never realized that I would be in these positions, that somebody would want to interview me. I would be in magazines, uh, that they would do documentaries on me. So I would like to say that, for anybody that's listening to this, that never think you can't do it. Because I started, and it's only God. I mean, even with my collection, it's just, I'm grateful. That's all I can say. I'm humbled and grateful. And thank you for taking the time out to interview
Oh,
me.
oh, I
Yes.
really appreciate it. And I'll be texting you because I want, as a thank you, send you. You may have saw this book I self-published, The ABCs of Black Bibliophiles. So as
Yes.
appreciation for you doing this interview, I want to send you a copy of this book. So I'll text you to get your address, so that I can put this in the mail for you.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you. And you will sign it for me.
yes, yes, I
Yes,
will.
I'm
Sure.
excited about it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I really
Okay.
appreciate it and everything. You taking the time and appreciate the work that you're doing, and everything. And so, thank you. Thank you so much. And, I
Okay.
hope you enjoy the rest of your day and week.
All right. You too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Bye.